but this was our big gun. Now it just looks like you're stalking him. I think in the eyes of the people who don't follow it that closely, which is most of the country, here's the thing about Bob Mueller. He's like the last person, maybe the last thing in America that left and right agreed on. Left and right basically agreed. This is a guy of honor. This is an honest guy. This is an honest broker. Whatever he says goes. Americans are not into details. Don't read it to me, Bob. Just give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down. The fact that he was like, I don't. If you couldn't impeach before, how are you going to impeach after? Or should you? Well, were you?
Is not only a stone cold, hopeless loser, but he is one of the most.
And that's with all of the difficulties and all of the fake investigations and the Adam Shifty Schiffs. Can you believe this guy? He's got the smallest neck I've ever seen.
And like clockwork, they're still screaming about Trump. But he's not the one getting lost in the noise. What's really fascinating is how the woke crowd stays completely blind and deaf to what's actually making them look bad. They keep doubling down, totally unaware they're exposing themselves in the process. And then comes Bill Maher, delivering the perfect no-nonsense point that tears their entire argument apart. You've got to see how he breaks it down.
Day, bit by bit, drop by drop, we see our democracy evaporating. And you need to look at the cumulative total of all this and how much damage is being done. And I think my colleagues have to ask themselves, why am I here if not to defend this beautiful system we have and speak out and act my conscience and whatever my voters do. I always tell my constituents the job of a member of Congress is not to get reelected. It's to do the right thing and still find a way to get reelected.
This might be the most jaw-dropping clip on the internet right now. Bill Maher just obliterated Adam Schiff live on air, and it's honestly wild to watch. On his latest show, Maher didn't pull a single punch. He ripped into Schiff's reputation and delivered a brutal reality check about the Democratic Party, why it's falling apart, and why it might never recover. You won't want to miss a second of this takedown, and if you're feeling this, hit that like button to keep more truth coming your way. Now let's dive into how these so-called wokies did a full 180 on democracy, all because Trump started winning again.
Not only a stone cold, hopeless loser, but he is one of the most corrupt, one of the most shameful, one of the most heinous individuals ever to serve in public office in America. And everything he's devoted his life to has been debunked, discredited, and discarded. He literally represents the face of failure. His sole achievement in life was fighting a losing war against Donald Trump, and now President Trump is in the White House, and Adam Schiff is the leader of a dying and dethroned movement. This is, it really is amazing. Think about what the Democrat Party is fighting against. What are they trying to stop?
I'm genuinely confused. Does this guy actually believe what we're doing isn't aligned with the Constitution? Or is he just trying to cover for government overreach and fraud, all while distracting the public with identity politics and gender chaos? At this point, it's hard to tell. But don't take my word for it. Just listen to what Stephen Miller had to say about him.
He cares about is himself and money, and going after the money is a way to bring about some real justice.
Do you think
the reason why Joe Biden is going to beat Donald Trump is because at the end of the day, America is going to want a president who is a decent human being, who doesn't shit on other people, who has some interest in the American people, some interest in something beyond himself. I think at the end of the day, people are going to reject this bigoted, divisive figure. They're not going to want to put the country through 4 years of that.
It's honestly refreshing to see Shifty Schiff finally getting the roast he's earned. But here's the real kicker. That's not even the surprising part. Let's be honest. He's been wrong about just about everything. Remember when he confidently claimed Trump would lose? Or that Trump only cares about himself and money? Meanwhile, it's Trump who's out here putting America first, fighting for the country, the economy, and even our children's future. The contrast? It couldn't be more clear.
The Atlantic put out an article last year, and it was called "Separating Sports by Sex Doesn't Make Sense,"
Right.
and talked about how we separate sports like the WNBA and the just because it's just socialization. This is insane.
I agree.
Okay, that's why people vote for Trump, because there's stuff like that on the left that people just go, "I know Trump's horrible."
Somehow, the Democrats have doubled down on the very issues that already cost them, and now they're stuck. Meanwhile, Trump's the only one who seems to be standing with any real clarity or direction. What makes it all the more ironic? The confidence they had, acting like the next election was already won. But now, one of their own just dropped. A truth bomb they never saw coming. It's the kind of reality check that says it all.
And here's the flip side. You can like Joe Biden, but hate Capitol Hill. As it has been for so many years. When you look at people, think about Trump. You ever watch Trump debate? This is why I was joking around and said I challenge him to a debate. What would I have to worry about? He doesn't say anything. He goes up against Democrats. It's going to be very, very good. It's going to be fabulous. But they watch. Wait to see. He hasn't said anything, right? And nobody on the Democratic side has, what is it? The pizzazz. I know you got the substance, but you've got a lot of people out there that are preoccupied with their own lives, and they want somebody that knows how to ingratiate
themselves. That's what in debates is called a gish gallop. It's called a gish gallop.
I understand.
Trump wasn't about to let it slide either. He jumped in and went full force, calling him a watermelon in a fiery 2-minute speech that tore him apart on the spot. It was blunt, direct, and vintage Trump. And after that, there was no doubt left. This guy is losing his grip. Fast.
All of the difficulties and all of the fake investigations and the Adam Shifty Schiffs. Can you believe this guy? He's got the smallest neck I've ever seen. And the biggest head. We call him watermelon head. I'd say, how could that big fat face stand on a neck that looked like this finger? How can it? It was the weirdest thing. It's a mystery. Nobody can understand it. But he's one of the most dishonest human beings I've ever seen. And, you know, how we can allow people like that to run in office is a shame, but we did. He was in charge of the witch hunt. You know, he was in charge of the fake witch hunt with Russia. It was a made-up story. Made up. Think of it. They make up a story. They know it's made up. It's gone on for a year and a half, 2 years. Russia. I knew nothing about it. The only thing I knew was that I taxed the pipeline that I told you about, that I put all sorts of sanctions and everything else. They never had a problem like they had with me. But it was Russia, constant, as a method of, what they did is that was the complaint about why she lost an election, because crooked Hillary was expected to win the election. But they didn't see what we saw. We saw the biggest crowds in history gathering, only superseded by the crowds we just had. But here's a guy that goes out, and he goes to an intelligence hearing, or whatever you might call it, and it's supposed to be secret. He'd walk out, he'd either make a call off the record, just as crooked Adam Schiff, Shifty Schiff. He's a shifty Adam. Or he'd just go out blatantly and have a news conference. And because it had to do with me and my family, he'd go out and have a news conference, and he said, you know, you've got to remember, he knows it's a hoax because he made it up with crooked Hillary. So he knows it's a hoax because we're dealing with human beings on the other side. He'd say, Donald Trump Jr., the son of the President of the United States, will spend many years in prison.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear what you think about Schmitty Schmidt. We've got more truth, more heat, and way more coming your way.